I've spent the last 35 years working in Asia, based mainly in Nepal, on an incredible collection of historic buildings. But perhaps one of the most challenging tasks has been that of working in Upper Mustang. The unique qualities of the architecture and of the wall paintings is something very, very special. Mustang is a pretty extraordinary area. It's the only area in Nepal which is on the other side of the Himalayas. You actually come through the famous Kaligandaki river gorge, which is the deepest gorge in the world. You have the Dhaulagiri on one side and Nilgiri on the other. Mustang is an arid zone, and it depends very much on the snowmelt from streams bringing water down from the Himalaya. The season for Mustang very much depends upon the irrigation. They usually have about 2 crops a year, one of wheat and the other of papar, which is buckwheat. During the other part of the year, the land lies fallow. So you have these amazing oases that crop up as you're traveling up into Upper Mustang. And around these areas where there is water, cities, towns, villages develop. Lomantang is a unique walled city. The walls enclose an area of about 3,000 square meters. It was originally formed as a square, and then a later addition on the northern end of where the Chode Gompa is was added. By the time you get into Lomantang, it's vehicle-free. We're told that every day there's something in the region of 2,500 4-footed animals coming and going through the main gate. Festival of Tiji is one of the great events in Lomantang, in fact in Upper Mustang, because people from all the villages around will assemble there, and you get an incredible collection of interesting people and their national dresses, their traditional dresses. It's really the event that heralds the beginning of the spring season, and it's the expulsion of the demons, the evil spirits, from the town itself. The main focus is on the dances in the main square. And then after that, the Raja and the head Lama will expel the evil spirits, and then the fun begins, the drinking and eating. So TG is very special. I will never forget my first impressions of walking into the temples, the monasteries of Upper Mustang, particularly that of Tubjen. I had no idea whether we were going to be walking into a small room or a vast, great cathedral-like building as Tubjen was. And seeing the latter, it was an extraordinary shock, actually, because I realized there was very little we could do in the 2 weeks that we had up here. Couple of days, I suppose, assessing the overall condition of the temple, and I began to see that there was something rather special hidden below the dirt on the walls, and no one really had any idea of the quality of the paintings. The odd foreigner had actually visited this part of the world and had commented on the wall paintings. There were no pictures, photographs available anywhere. So it was quite an extraordinary experience, stepping into a medieval atmosphere. The other thing particularly that struck us was that the temple was dead. We turned to one another and said, why are we bothering to come and restore a temple where there's no religious activity? Weighing it up in our minds, we decided, well, these are rather special buildings and they do have some special art in them. Let's go for it. We then put in a request to the American Himalayan Foundation, who had, after all, provoked and promoted the idea of this first visit. Happily, they approved our budget, and then I had the major task of actually putting together a team of people to look after the process of repairing, conserving. When it came to finding someone to tackle the wall paintings, I knew that there was little hope of finding anyone in Asia. So I turned to a some good friends of mine in Italy who I felt could actually tackle this sort of work. They'd had experience in Asia.
And this crack probably made after the earthquake, because this area suffered of very big earthquakes. And you can see that the painting doesn't match. So there was really a shifting. And that's why we left that crack, because we couldn't reconstruct.
My challenge from the very beginning has been one of actually being able to train up a group of people. The need to find specialists in the wall paintings conservation site was very urgent, because the special techniques required when you're dealing with 15th century wall paintings, you can't just go in with a brush and a bar of soap and wash the surface away. It's a very, very complicated process. What's needed always in places like Nepal is to be able to train up a team of local people so that they become aware of their own culture. They become the future team that will maintain and look after their culture and take it through into a new generation. One hopes that it'll be, over the years to come, they'll be able to actually take on the role and responsibility of working on the wall paintings in many of the other temples in this part of the world. And the bottom line is we now have a team of well over 50 people, local people, who can really tackle any project in this area dealing with their historic sites, which was certainly not the case when we first arrived. So we have the combination of wonderful results and now a very competent workforce.